Hi friends, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing this Japanese stitch from a book, and I thought we've been doing some stitch and read-alongs. Well, let's do one that has no words at all. It's only from a symbol diagram. So what I have done is looked at this. It's 14 stitches, multiple of 14 plus 1 it says, but I wasn't so sure about that, so I counted the ovals, which means the beginning chain, and I got to 32. So 32, 31, 30, 29. So it looks like 14, it's a multiple of 14, and if there's 2 occurrences, that makes 28 plus 1, so that makes this, but then 20, 30, 31, 32. So we have a multiple of 14, well, that's this number, plus 1 for this. But then the turning chain, we're going to add 3 more. So 14 times 2 is 28, plus 1 is 29, and add 30, 31, 32. So we're going to begin with a chain of 32. I have no idea where this yarn came from, but I love the color. So we're going to go ahead and chain 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's 14 plus 1. 30, 31, 32. Okay, now I isolated this one to help me just stay focused rather than all the other diagrams, and I made the camera as close to the book as I could so that you could see the diagram better. So if we're looking at, we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn overs. I don't even know what that is. Quadruple treble, I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in the 11th chain from the hook, we're going to yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and in the 11th chain from the hook, we're going to work that stitch, okay? I don't even know what we'll call that. I don't even know. Is it a double treble? Is it a quadruple treble? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th chain from the hook, we're going to complete that stitch. So I think this would make an amazing shawl, and so I thought I would audition this stitch and see if it is in fact a relaxing and valuable use of my time. Look at that. Wow, look how tall that stitch is. That is one gnarly stitch. Okay, so then chain 1, that's what this oval is here, and then do another one of these. So it's like one of those, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a total of 7 times. And so this beginning chain does not count as that. So I'm going to chain 1, yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4 times, okay? Then in that same stitch, the 11th chain from the hook, I will complete the stitch by yarning over and pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, and one more time, yarning over and pulling through 2. So it might take me some practice to get used to a stitch quite that tall, but we're going to keep doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So including the stitch that was on the hook, the loop that was on the hook, then yarning over 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and in that same stitch. So we will see if this becomes my new favorite stitch. It is awfully fun, but it looks like it might be a little loose in the tension, and so that might annoy me. It might make me feel just less excited about it. I don't know. But in a natural fiber, it might block really amazingly well. So even though it feels kind of sloppy now, and that is not usually my style, I like a very clear stitch definition, it might block beautifully well and make me very happy. Okay, so we have 4 there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to do the same stitch. So if you're a fan of Japanese stitches and Japanese stitch diagrams, I do have other videos that have dabbled in this, and of course the continuous motifs. One, ups, just chain one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on again. The tumbling motif from my one skein crochet book is a continuous motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain one. Of course, this is a row pattern here that we are working together today. So we're just continuing with this really extended giraffe stitch. Okay, so I don't even know what you would call it, a quadruple, treble, I don't even know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what we needed, and that is what we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we needed to skip, my pen is maybe more precise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the 7th one we will double crochet. So I'm skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the 7th one I'm going to double crochet. So I need to isolate that one. It's this one here. I want to hold on to it so I don't lose it. And I'm just double crocheting. It's just a yarn over once, indicated by the little hash, the little diagonal line there in the front of the post. That means yarn over once, so we know that that is a double crochet in US terminology. I'm going to drop that for a moment and take a look. Look pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, then we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the 7th one we'll do another one of these big shells. Okay, just the same thing we did here in the 7th one from the hook. So I need to count again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the one I want. I'm going to grab my hook. I'm going to pay attention here. Now I'm going to drop it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, it's still right there. I'm going to yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I'm holding it tight so I know where it is here in my other hand, my tension hand, so that I know where the stitches of this massive shell will go. I think we need to nominate what we call the stitch or what we call this massive shell. Is there any marine biology people out there who might have a good nomination for a name for a supersized shell? Because that's what we have here. Well, yarning over and pulling through is a very relaxing and fun thing to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this does kind of fit the bill for a relaxing and valuable use of our time. It is going to make a super big lacy fabric that we are going to get through pretty fast. Chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn overs, working in the same chain. So much fun. How about you? Do you like doing new stitches, or do you prefer to use the same old, same old? Do you like to challenge yourself with something harder or something out of your comfort zone? This feels a little out of my comfort zone. So I have 5 so far. 3, 4 yarn overs. I admit that I do not like things messy when it comes to my stitches. I like my stitches to be tidy, and so these extra yarn overs feels very loose to me, and that's harder for me to cope with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn overs, and add the last one of these super tall stitches in that spot. But then again, it's very freeing, isn't it, to try something new? Okay, and so there's not a chain at the end of there. We're skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the 7th one, the last chain, we are just going to yarn over once and double crochet in the final chain. Whew, we made it through row 1 of this mega shell pattern. Look how gorgeous that is. Okay, now what do we do? So according to our diagram, there's a little arrow that says we're going back. And look, we are slip stitching. Isn't this interesting? So we're going to turn and do a, looks like one dot. Looks, I'm guessing those are slip stitches in each stitch and chain all the way here, okay? And then we will go this way and continue. So they're counting, this is like a foundation row. The number 1, they're counting as a row 1. This is row 2 is working this direction, row 3 is working that direction, row 4 is working that direction. That's what the arrows are indicating. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that's what they're trying to tell us. But first we're going to slip stitch in each stitch. So we're not chaining any. There's no ovals there, so there's no chaining and turning on this one. Instead, we are just turning the work and we are slip stitching in each stitch, including that first double crochet. So slip stitch there. Now we will slip stitch in each stitch and chain. Probably we could slip stitch in the chain 1 space, but I am going to go ahead and slip stitch in the chain, in the top 2 loops of the chain, just to be more tidy, since I do like my stitches that way, and I think it'll be more accurate. So I'm slip stitching in the stitch, insert the hook, pull through the yarn through the fabric and through the loop on the hook, and in the chain I'm grabbing the top 2 loops of the chain and pulling through that and through the loop on the hook to slip stitch into those spaces as well. Okay, so we're just slip stitching all the way across. So that multiple did work out. They just didn't count the turning chain of that beginning foundation in their multiple, which is fine because when it's drawn out in symbol diagrams like this, we can figure it out for ourselves. So we know the multiple is 14 plus 1 plus 3. So we got it. So a few experiments would help us get to the right number if we were multiplying it out for a larger project like a shawl or something. We know that we need 14 for each repeat. And if we know that each repeat is like 3 inches, then we would figure out how many inches we wanted in our shawl or whatever. If we wanted 36, then we would need 12 repeats, for example, to get approximately that in this gauge with this yarn, with this hook. Okay, we're still slip stitching all the way across. Sorry if I'm falling out of focus here. I've got the camera so close to my hands so that I can focus on the symbol diagram that I'm having to put my hands in an unusual position on the table, and I'm forgetting a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. So we're slip stitching in each stitch across. Okay, and then when we get to the end, we're slip stitching in the 3rd chain of that beginning chain whatever. So it's actually just the next chain after the stitch. So one more here. Slip stitch. This one's a tight one. Okay, in that foundation chain. Okay, now we are turning and we are chaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I see another oval there, so 7. So it's this counts as the first stitch, and then this one counts as the chain 1 in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1 is 7. So we are chaining 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn. Okay, ooh, neat. Okay, now in this first chain, we're anchoring this 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn over stitch. Oop, there goes my yarn right off the table. Here in the same slip stitch at the base of this stitch. So it's going to go right here. Okay, we're going to put 1, 2, 3 of those separated by chain 1 spaces in there. So yarn over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that slip stitch there at the base, we're putting in this big tall giraffe stitch It might henceforth be known as the giraffe stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, because I've lost track of how many of a quadruple treble or whatever this might be. Quintuple treble. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, did I forget to chain 1? No, I guess it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there should be the turning chain plus 3 of these stitches here. Okay, so we had the turning chain plus 1, 2, 3. So we had the turning chain plus 1, 2, 3. Now at the end of this item, we're going to, this little half shell, we're going to plus sign, which is single crochet in the middle one of these on the bottom shell. So we're going to single crochet in there. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is the middle one here. So we will single crochet in there. Okay, so we've single crocheted. Now we're doing the 4 yarn overs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, a big shell all in that double crochet right there, like just like we did before, separated by single crochet or chain ones. All right, we're making progress, friends. So yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the double crochet here, in between the big shells, that's where we're going to put our stitches. We're making another big shell in that spot. I guess those slip stitches really help to anchor or solidify the stitch pattern, which I can certainly appreciate. Chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, chain 1. So we're making a total of 7 of these big, tall giraffe stitches. My mother would approve. My mother's favorite animal was a giraffe. So I often think of giraffe imagery. 2, 3, 4. All right. Ooh. Okay, got it. Chain 1. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got to make 7 all in that same stitch or space. It's actually a stitch. There it is. Keep right on rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boy, this makes a big lacy fabric, doesn't it? Chain 1 spaces is what creates lace. And then also bigger spaces. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1 more to go. The taller the stitches, the lacier the fabric as well. So with these huge tall stitches and the chain 1 spaces, it makes lace like I have never seen before, which is so much fun. Okay, so there's the next one. So we had the half shell here, and then a full shell nestled between these first shells. Okay, as you might guess, we're probably going to anchor it with a single crochet in that middle stitch of the next shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So put it in here, a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do another half shell, which is 1, 2, 3 of 4 of those tall giraffe stitches that are yarn over 4 times with chains in between them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to place it here in the post, like the top of that stitch where the slip stitch was. So I'm going to find that double crochet here. And did it get twisted around just a little bit? It did. It's okay. So I'm going to find it here and place it anywhere I can fit in there and finish these stitches off. Okay, and then 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember that was the chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yarn overs and pull through 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn overs. Anchor that stitch at the same spot, all of them. So it is just a massive shell. And there's 3 of them and I need 4, so 1 more. So chain 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn overs. And in that same spot, we are working that tall stitch. Okay, so here we have 2 rows done. Okay, it's looking pretty nice. I'm getting the hang of it. I think this would really benefit from some good blocking to make it all lay nice and flat, but it's coming along, kind of neat, very organic looking. I like that. So the next row is going to chain one, or no chain one, just turn. Looks like single crochet in the first one. So if we worked here, there's, oh, slip stitches, sorry. Slip stitches all the way across. So they're not really counting these as rows, it doesn't look like. And then the shells, they're sort of counting as rows. I'm guessing, I think that's what that's indicating. Or not, I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to slip stitch the same way we did. And then as we slip stitch all the way across, then we will chain 1, there's a little oval, single crochet, and then work a large shell and a large shell. And over here, then we'll slip stitch all the way back and then chain that 7 and keep right on going. So we're alternating. This is the row 1 worked in the chain foundation. Then we're alternating this row here and that row there with the slip stitches in between. So it's actually 4 rows you're alternating. The shell row, the slip stitch row, the shell row, the slip stitch row. And those group of 4 are what we are alternating. So I hope you've enjoyed this Japanese stitch diagram. Read and stitch along to symbol diagrams and learn to read symbol diagrams with this organic massive shell and the giraffe stitch. And I will see you on the next video.